For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. And thank you. Mr. Trump, same question. Where do you want to see the court take the country, and how do you believe the Constitution should be interpreted?
It's all about the Constitution and so important, the Constitution the way it was meant to be. And those are the people that I will appoint.
Mr. Trump, thank you.
All he has to do is be quiet and people think he's impressive.
From guns, and so they wanted
The good guy versus the bad guy.
to safely
The
store
angel
them.
versus the devil.
The court
She's not an
didn't
angel.
accept that reasonable regulation, but they've accepted.
Of course, we're going to protect and defend the Second Amendment, but we're going to do it in a way that tries to save some of these 33,000 lives that we lose every.
How will you ensure the Second Amendment is protected? You just heard Secretary Clinton's answer.
Before I go any further, in Chicago, which has the toughest gun laws in the United States, probably you could say by far, I will say this, it will go back to the states, and the states will then make a determination.
Secretary Clinton.
Well, I will defend women's rights to make their own health care decisions.
Secretary
And we have come too far to have that turn back now. And indeed, he said women should be punished, that there should be some form of punishment for women who obtain abortions. And I could just not be more opposed to that kind of thinking.
I mean, these are unbelievable people that I've gotten to know over a period of years, whose children have been killed, brutally killed by people that came into the country illegally. But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
Mr. Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Secretary Clinton.
Bad Hombre.
Hombre.
Yo, Hombre, you're bad.
I was thinking about it.
A girl I met here. But it is clear when you look at what Donald has been proposing. He started his campaign bashing immigrants, calling Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals and drug dealers.
He did.
That he has a very different view about what we should do to deal with immigrants. Now,
We're going to speed up the process bigly because it's very inefficient. But they're online and they're waiting to become. She wants open borders. People are going to pour into our country. People are going to come in from Syria. She wants 550% more people than Barack Obama. And he has thousands and thousands. We are going to stop radical Islamic terrorism in this country. She won't even mention the words, and neither will President Obama. So I just want to tell you, she wants open borders. Now we can talk about Putin. I don't know Putin. He said nice things about me. If we got along well, that would be good. Putin, from everything I see, has no respect for this person.
well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of
No
the United
puppet.
States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit
No, you're
that the
the puppet.
Russians have engaged
No,
in
you're the
cyber
puppet.
attacks against the United States of America, that you encouraged
I like it.
espionage
Finally.
against our people. That, well,
Yeah, I
he'd
doubt
rather
it. I doubt
believe
it.
Vladimir Putin than the military and civilian intelligence professionals who are sworn to protect us. I find that just absolutely
She doesn't
right.
like Putin because Putin has outsmarted her at every
Mr.
step
Trump,
of the way.
I-
Excuse me.
She's
Putin
got
has
it.
outsmarted her
Support Russian
in
women.
Syria.
I'm
He's
not
outsmarted
plant
her
here.
every step of the
I
way.
do get to ask some questions.
Yes,
and
that's
I would
fine.
like to ask.
Person who has been very cavalier, even casual about the use of nuclear weapons. He's advocated more countries getting them, Japan, Korea, even Saudi Arabia. He said, well, if we have them, why don't we use them, which I think is terrifying.
Well, first of all, before I start on my plan, her plan is going to raise taxes and even double your taxes. Her tax plan is a disaster. And she can say all she wants about college tuition. And I'm a big proponent. We're going to do a lot of things for college tuition,
Like
but
what?
the rest of the public's going to be paying for it. We will have a massive, massive tax increase under Hillary Clinton's plan. But I'd like to start off where we left. Because when I said Japan and Germany, and I'm not to single them out, but we're going to cut taxes massively. We're going to cut business taxes massively. They're going to start hiring people. We're going to bring the $2.5 trillion that's offshore back into the country. We are going to start the engine rolling again because right now our country is dying at 1% GDP.
Well, let me translate that if I can, Chris, because
You
the
can't.
fact is he's going.
It is just horrible what's happened to these people in these communities. Now, she can say that her husband did well, but boy, did they suffer as NAFTA kicked in. Because it didn't really kick in very much, but it kicked in after they left. Boy, did they suffer. I ask a simple question. She's been doing this for 30 years. Why the hell didn't you do it over the last 15, 20 years? You were very much involved. Excuse me. My turn.
In the 1990s, I went to Beijing, and I said women's rights are human rights. he insulted a former Miss Universe, Alicia Machado, called her an eating machine. And on the day when I was in the Situation Room monitoring the raid that brought Osama bin Laden to justice, he was hosting the Celebrity Apprentice. So,
And I didn't even apologize to my wife, who's sitting right here, because I didn't do anything. I didn't know any of these women. I didn't see these women. These women.
now, what was his response? Well, he held a number of big rallies where he said that he could not possibly have done those things to those women because they were not attractive enough for
I did
them
not
to
say
be
that.
assaulted.
I did not say that.
In fact, he went on to say,
Her 2 minutes, sir, her 2 minutes.
But did not say
It's
that.
her 2 minutes.
he went on to say,
They're ugly.
look at her. I don't think so. About another woman, he said, that wouldn't be my first choice. He attacked the woman reporter writing the story, called her disgusting, as he has called a number of women during this campaign.
Is a disgrace. And you know it, and they know it, and everybody knows it.
Secretary.
We have the highest rating from the watchdogs that follow foundations, and I'd be happy to compare what we do with the Trump Foundation, which took money from other people and bought a 6-foot portrait of Donald. I mean, who does that? It just was astonishing. But when it comes to Haiti, Haiti is the poorest country in our hemisphere. But what is really troubling is that we learned in the last debate he has not paid a penny in federal income tax. And we were talking about immigrants a few minutes ago, Chris. You know, half of all immigrants, undocumented immigrants in our country, actually pay federal income tax. So we have undocumented immigrants in America who are paying more federal income tax than a billionaire.
I
find
So
that
let me just tell you very simply.
astonishing.
Do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. What I've seen.
You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him. The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged. He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost the Wisconsin primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him. Then Trump University gets sued for fraud and racketeering. He claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against
Should have
him.
gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
But she wanted to look good for the election. So they're going in. But who's going to get Mosul, really? We'll take Mosul eventually. By the way, if you look at what's happening, much tougher than they
What
thought.
is your plan to
much
take
tougher,
Mosul?
much more dangerous, going to be more deaths than
What
they
is his
thought.
plan?
But the leaders that we wanted to
He's
get
gonna
all
bomb
gone.
the civilians.
Because
I
they're
don't
smart.
understand.
He said, what do we need this for? So Mosul is going to be a wonderful thing, and Iran should write us a letter of thank you, just like the stupidest deal of all time. So we're now going to take Mosul, and you know who's going to be the beneficiary? Iran. Boy, are they making?
So how are you going to
they
stop
are
that
outsmarting.
as president?
Look, you're not there. You might be involved in that decision.
But what's really important here is to understand all the interplay. And yes, we do need to go after Baghdadi, and just like we went after bin Laden while you were doing Celebrity Apprentice, and we brought him to justice. We need to go after the leadership. He has been criticizing our government for decades.
True.
You know, back in 1987, he took out a $100,000 ad in the New York Times during the time when President Reagan was president, and basically said exactly what he just said now, that we were the laughing stock of the world. He was criticizing President Reagan.
No,
Because
sir,
I did
we're running out of
disagree with
time.
Ronald Reagan very strongly on trade. I disagreed with him. We should have been much tougher on trade even then. I've been waiting for years. Nobody does it right.
Just disagree with Reagan. Reagan's like the Jesus of the Republicans. Just disagree with Reagan.
Such a nasty one.
Trust fund by making sure that we have sufficient resources, and that will come from either raising the cap and or finding other ways to get more money into it. I will not cut benefits.
attacking, man.
That will have dire consequences for Social Security and Medicare. And I'll say something about the Affordable
She's
Care
doing the
Act, which
finger
wants to
thing. She's doing the
repeal.
finger thing.
The Affordable
She's
Care
doing the
Act
finger thing.
extended the
stopped
solvency
the finger
of the
thing.
Medicare. I have made the cause of children and families really my life's work. That's what my mission will be in the presidency. I will stand up for families against powerful interests, against...
She's raising the money from the people she wants to control. Doesn't work that way. But when I started this campaign,
Woo, watch it.
She always shakes hands first. He's always a bit lost. Look at him.
He's
such a dick.
side they fall on to this election.
He looks so alone. He looks so alone. Look, he's so alone.
And he said he would keep the American people in suspense.
Why are they wearing black?
Joined here.
They look like they're at a funeral.